really, really well. And we're live already. We're live on Facebook.
Okay.
Let's see, we're actually up and running because I see that we are live. And now I can see the chat on the group as well, in the Facebook group. So welcome, everyone. It's our third interview, the second one of today. We're live today with Mark Breadner, and I'm sure that many of you know Mark already. But for those that don't know you, Mark is the founder of Yoga Coach, and he's a very, very famous, I would say, teacher in Australia, one of the longest serving coaches and teachers in Australia, and here to join us to speak about how to grow and scale your business to make a bigger impact and gain more freedom teaching yoga. So Mark, thank you so much for being here. It's an absolute pleasure sharing this time with you and hearing more about what you do, what you offer, and how you actually help people. So thanks again for being on this summit with us.
Okay, my pleasure. Namaste. Hi, everyone. Be here.
Amazing. So for those that are a little bit unfamiliar with your work still, what do you do exactly and who are you?
I was fortunate enough that I grew up with yoga. My mum was one of the first teachers in Australia, and she taught it home when I was 5. And at a very early age, I got it. The thing that yoga was, it hooked me, and I've been involved ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And teaching with about 15, syndrome at the hospital, and it was amazing. I loved it, and I started my classes when I was 18. Physical focus, but I had all those questions inside. I felt really lost. I felt really empty. I kind of felt sick. I was getting the answers, but I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't doing it. And started me that journey when I was 3, all the big questions in life. Who am I and what am I here for? What can this yoga thing do? So I went down the rabbit hole and really went deep in that process, and backwards and forwards to India for 3 decades. To educating teachers for 5 years now, and I started niche into working individually as yoga. I didn't call it a life coach there. I was a mind body coach. Worked in elite sport with athletes in swimming and surfing. Then I as I was traveling, I'd see these beings, these gurus, masters, who were just happy for no reason at all. And not only that, they were getting incredible amounts of work. I mean, feeding thousands of people, building schools. And I then started to go, how do I do that? Like, how does that work? What do they know that I don't know? And what do they practice I'm not practicing? And then how do I do that journey? So now the main thing that I do is called Yoga Life Coach, or we call it the Rebel Yogi. And it's using yoga as a life coaching system, really serve people on a much bigger.
Exactly. So you mentioned the word guru or coaches and using yoga as a life coaching system. What does this really mean? And why is this different from teaching yoga?
Well, for me, I see the guru, as the ultimate life coach, because they got to the highest level of what it means. They unified all aspects of this. Nothing high, you can't beat that. And then some of them, they actually mapped it out. Notice how to do it. So like text yoga sutras or the Bhagavad Gita, life coaching manuals, because they show you how to do it. Here's how do you disseminate it? How do you contemporize it, take the teachings and apply it to modern day living? And we've worked with my teachers for a long time to do, And it's super powerful because, you know, as we said, it's taking to a higher possibility than we already are. And, you know, now at the moment, you know, there's mainly a physical focus. That's just the reality. A lot of teachers feel like they're instructors because they're not taught much beyond that. You know, the regulatory bodies are a big problem because they made the standards very ambiguous and low. They made it very easy for people to run training. Most of the knowledge was passed down through that focus, so it just gets passed down and passed down. Now, some asana teaching there, just an entry point. It's just the surface level. And really what Yoga Life Coach is about is going beneath the surface and working with all the invisible part, making the invisible, because that's where the power is. You know, that's where the transformation is. That's where the truth is. And, you know, the yogis, they showed us how to do it, and they did it through direct experience, mapped it out by going deep into the human mechanism and it very intimately from their own internal understanding. So yeah, powerful. And that's where our focus is.
This is beautiful. And I think it's so valuable. It really it helps you to look beyond just the physical, like you said. You mentioned making the invisible visible. What does that mean?
Well, on Instagram, most of you guys would have seen that image of, you know, the eye, and then eighth is the rest of yoga, and that's the part. Like the on the surface that everyone sees, you know, the Lululemon stuff and doing fancy posts and like Graham, that's all really cool. Issue with any of that, but it's just more. And the stuff beneath the surface is, you know, prana, consciousness, and universal intelligence, true clarity in the world as it is, vibration, frequency. And where all of us are extraordinary beings, we but the entry prams and opening the idea of the physical practice is to open the physical body to the subtle. It's the process. That's how it works through the Ashtanga 8 limbs, if you like. And so a lot of people have got caught up in thinking that flexibility or stamina or strength or whatever it is the thing. But that's just icing on.
Right. We lost you for a moment. I'm not sure if you're still receiving us. And I see in the comments here as well that people are not, the camera and the audio is a bit stuck. So everyone's watching. Tell us, can you still hear us and see us all right? Write in the comments. Let's see if we can do anything about it.
Hi. Yeah, Christina told me the really it's very broken up.
It is. Is there anything that we can do about this? Because I see it in the comments here as well. People can't hear you right.
And if it's from my side, I can try. Where is my phone? And do it through the phone.
All right, for those that are watching, I see they're typing. Thank you all for sticking along and bearing with us. Thank you for your patience. Let's have a little bit of discussion in the meantime. Let's see if Mark can come back with us and let us know what impact you want to make. What impact you want to make in the lives of your students. Write in the comments to share your ideas, your thoughts. Because they're really, really, really interested in that. And in the meantime, we're just going to wait for a moment. I probably have to stop this interview because, oh no, let's see. All right. I hear you, but Mark has left. Yes, Mark is back now. And let's see if we can reconnect here on Facebook too. But in the comments, like I said, let us know what kind of impact you want to make on your students. And especially think beyond the physical. So think beyond asana classes, but really the impact that you want or that you can create in their lives. Helping them find their purpose, helping them find more fulfillment, maybe understanding their dharma, their purpose in life better. What difference do you want to make? I'm going to check in with your comments. We all get to practice patience. That's it, Diana. Well done. Practicing patience here. Taking a moment to embrace the present and just trusting the process, trusting that everything will be fine. So Diana says creating awareness, more compassion for themselves and feeling all the feelings without the need to cope. Without the need to cope, do you mean the need to change it or without the need to actually like draw in those feelings? Feeling that you can't handle it anymore? Just allowing them to be? More things in the comments, everyone. Write down what you would like to share. What kind of impact you would like to make. Yes, exactly. To change or to escape. Very good. So embracing what is, embracing what they're feeling. I like that. And do you also have specific people in mind? How to let them move through and feel safe. Beautiful. And Ideal says, I want them to connect with their authentic self and shine their lights, which will naturally help shine their lights on others. My main vision is helping cultivate more peace and understanding in the world. When we move through life with ease, we make it possible for everyone else to do the same. Wow, Ideal, this is beautiful. Very, very nice. Super inspiring. So everyone, keep them coming. Write in the comments. I'm just letting Mark back into the Zoom room. And let's see if we can get back on track with the interview. Here we are.
Hi, Annie. I don't know if it's going to be any better. I wasn't able to change it to the phone for some reason, but it's usually fine. So I'm not sure.
I'm
Sorry.
not sure either, but it seems better this time.
All right.
All right. So my last question, and that's when I started not hearing you very clearly anymore was how to make, or what does it mean to make that invisible visible?
Well, once you move physical to the subtle body, that's where the invisible. No good.
Yes, it's good now.
Yeah, that's where the power is, because that's the home of Kriya Yoga, Tantra, and this is when you're doing practice working directly on your consciousness. And so these are practices that, if we would say, it's a combination of, mantra, visualization, meditation, in different combinations to direct your energies and to directly impact your consciousness, with the idea of continuing to put away the false identities, beliefs as such, and so that to erase our frequency, raising our, and all information, all the universal light information is just a frequency. So as we raise our frequency, we tap into a higher knowledge, and that resonates, we start with it and starts to come into our life. Things can open up very quickly and can change very quickly. Wow, where did it come from? It was always, we just didn't have frequency to be able to perceive it. And as we can continue to do that, we start tapping into a higher and higher levels of understanding, knowledge, and it comes through as insight and inspiration. It's like that just come. Here is to trust that and then take it back into life. It's a local community or it's global. That understanding and then bridging it to the people that most.
I lost the last part of it, but I think what you're saying is really great food for thought, because these are not often things that we are taught in yoga teacher training, and for that reason do not teach when we come out of the teacher training. So what you offer really helps your students or your teachers, let's say, dive deeper so that they then also can take their students on a greater or deeper path into this yogic lifestyle or perspective of life. What does it really take for a teacher to learn these things so that then after they can teach it to their students as well?
You have to find the right teacher. It's as simple as that, because a lot of times, it took me a long time to learn these, going backwards and forwards in out teachers, and a lot of the practices are esoteric when you learn them from a master or a guru or something like this. And I always did them because I was fascinated by it and I was obsessed by it. So I practiced this and I would notice the change. A lot of Western students won't do that. Westerners want to know why. Well, why am I doing it? Like, why am I doing this thing? Why am I holding my hands in these funny positions and words and, and doing things? And then I come around and I put my fingers over my eyes and I put the roof of my mouth. And why am I going to do it? If they don't know why, they don't care to do it because it's invisible, right? So, the right teacher means like having the right teacher that understands it, but also having the right teacher that can teach it in a way that you understand it, and language in a way that your students understand it and go, wow, I want to do that. Like, that's amazing. I get it. I understand it. They care, because when they care, they'll do it, and then they'll get the effect and they're like, I want more of that. That's incredible. I never thought it was possible. Give me more, right? You could go to India and do those things, but those is to get that information is easy to find it, right? And then in a contemporary way that is understood in in a language and made like critical, that's important for you to know this. I think a lot of teachers read, the Kundalini Tantra or stuff like that, and they'll see practice, you know, how it folds out. And it's
I lost you for the last part of it. What was the last thing you said?
that the way that you give out the practice is, it depends on the relationship. It depends on the person in front of you. Science, but it depends on how someone is dealing with life, you know, what stage they're at, how it interacts, you know, the physical body, through the subtle body, through the mental body, and, you know, what do they need? You know, what do they need to balance? What do they need to strengthen? What do they need to remove? You know, where are they in their consciousness at the moment? It's all very important to understand that, because if you just give generic practices, a lot of the time you're not going to get, you know,
Oh, it's such a shame. It really is such a shame.
yeah,
Because I hear the first part of what you say very clearly, and then suddenly it stops again. I'm trying to think of what we can do, because I really think that what you're sharing is something to be heard, and it needs to be out there. And I want everyone to be able to actually understand every piece of it. What can we
well,
do?
I don't know, which I guess it's our internet, I don't know, but Christina talked the other day, no problem sitting in the same.
Exactly. Was it maybe a different room, or what is the weather like? I know the invalid that can sometimes influence the connection. Trying to think. Would it be possible to join the Zoom room from your phone?
Yes, but it won't let me.
Right, it might be because of this meeting. If I send you a new Zoom meeting, maybe. And then we'll just put these interviews together.
You could try.
Where's the link
What? Link for what?
to join that meeting through Zoom?
Annie, what are we going to do?
We're good. Okay, I'm gonna try send you a new Zoom link, and then we'll try from a phone. I think that we could give it a try, because it's a real shame I can't hear you properly. Yeah, so I'm gonna end this room. Everyone bear with us, stay in the group, and we're going to be back in a moment. So I'm gonna actually put it here for you, Mark, in the chat, and I'll send you a quick email as well.
Okay, I'm trying.
There you go. I'm gonna leave this
Join
here.
you. You'll have to leave this meeting.